In this video, I'm going to cover 2.3 skills practice on solving multi-step equations. So as always on a skills practice, you're going to solve the odds with me, and then you're going to go over to the corresponding even problem and give that one a try on your own. Number one, we're going to do a little bit more math magic. It says a number is divided by 2, and then the quotient is added to 8. The result is 33. Find the number. So the first thing we need to do here is set up an equation to be able to solve for the number. So it starts off by saying a number. We're just going to use a variable there. We could use x. It's being divided by 2. And then it says, and then the quotient. Well, the quotient is just the answer to a division problem. So it's saying whatever number we get when we divide x by 2, whatever we get when we divide x by 2, it's saying we're going to take that number and add it to 8. So we're going to divide x by 2 and then add it to 8. And then it's saying the result, meaning what it's equal to, is 33. So now that we have all these ideas, we can write them down. So first we're going to do x divided by 2. I prefer to write division like this. X is being divided by 2. And then the quotient, the answer of that, is being added to 8. And then the result is 33. All right, now we have an equation that we can solve. There's my variable, and so I'm going to use inverse operations starting from the outside in, starting with an addition and subtraction and working my way into the variable. So first I'm going to get rid of this 8 by subtracting it from both sides. 8 minus 8 is 0 over here. And then I have 33 minus 8, which should give me 25, equals x over 2. Still have the x to solve for. If x is being divided by 2, I can undo that divide by 2 by multiplying by 2. If I multiply by 2, these will cancel and give me a 1x, which is the same as x. And if I divide by 2 over here, 25 is actually not divisible by 2, so I'm just going to keep it as 25 over 2. All right, number 2, this one you're going to try on your own. A number is multiplied by 2, and then the product is added to 9. The result is 49. What is the number? So to start this one, it's saying a number, that's our variable, is being multiplied by 2. So we have a number, we could call it any variable, I'll go ahead and do x, is multiplied, so times by 2. And then the product, meaning the answer of this multiplication, is added to 9, so plus 9. And the result, meaning it's all equal to 49. So we've got a number times 2, then we're adding 9 to that, and it's equal to 49. What's the number? So we want to set up an equation here. So we can write x times 2, but the more simplified way to write that is just 2x. And then I'm adding that to 9. And then the result, and then the result is 49. So now I have my equation. My variable is x. I want to solve for x, so I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. 9 minus 9 is 0, leaving me with 2x equals 49 minus 9 is 40. To get the x completely by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. These give me a 1x, which is just x, equals 40 divided by 2 is 20. So that would be the number. Moving on to number 3, now we're just going to get into solving these two-step equations. So 5x plus 3 equals 23. My variable here is x. First, I'm going to undo any addition or subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 3, giving me 0. Subtract 3 on this side. So I'm left with 5x equals 23 minus 3 is 20. The x is still not alone yet, so I'm going to divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 gives me 1x, which is x. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Number 4, you're going to try 2y plus 5 equals 19. The variable here is y. The first thing I'm going to do to get it by itself is subtract 5 from both sides. When I do that, this 5 minus 5 gives me 0, leaving me with 2y equals 19 minus 5 is 14. To get this y completely by itself, I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1y. 14 divided by 2 is 7. For number 5, we have 4 equals 3a minus 14. The variable here is a. In order to get the a by itself, I'm first going to add 14 to both sides. Negative 14 plus 14 gives me 0, so I'm left with 3a equals 4 plus 14 is 18. In order to get this a by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 18 divided by 3 will give me my answer, which is 18 divided by 3 will give me my answer of 6, which is equal to A. You're going to try 6. 5c minus 4 equals negative 29. My variable here is c. In order to get it by itself, I'm first going to add 4 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so I'm left with 5c equals negative 29 plus 4 means I'm going to have a negative 25. The c is still not alone, so I need to divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 gives me 1c. Dividing by 5 over here, I've got a negative 25 divided by 5, so that's going to give me a negative 5. Looking at number 7, I have 8 minus 5w equals negative 37. Our variable here is w. The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this 8. It's a positive 8. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. 8 minus 8 is 0, which will leave me with a negative 5w equals negative 37 minus 38 means we're going to really add those values and they'll stay negative, so negative 45. W is still not by itself, so I need to divide both sides by a negative 5 because I want these negatives to cancel and the 5s. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1w. If I divide this side by negative 5, 45 divided by 5 is 9, and those negatives cancel each other out. You're going to try 18. 18 minus 4v equals 42. The variable here is v. In order to get it by itself, I'm going to first subtract 18 from both sides. 18 minus 18 is 0, leaving me with negative 4v. And then I have 42 minus 18, which is 24. To get the v completely by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 4. These cancel, giving me 1v. And then 24 divided by negative 4 will give me a negative 6. Number 9 says n over 3 minus 8 equals negative 2. The variable here is n. The first thing I'm going to do is add 8 to both sides to get that out of the way. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0, leaving me with n over 3. And negative 2 plus 8 is 6. In order to get rid of the 3 in the denominator, I'm going to multiply by 3. 3 over 3 gives me 1n. And so I multiply by 3 on this side. 6 times 3 is 18. You're going to try 10. It says 5 plus x over 4 equals 1. The variable here is x. The first step is to get rid of the 5. It's positive, so I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. 5 minus 5 is 0, leaving me with x over 4. On this side, I have 1 minus 5, which is a negative 4. To get the x alone, I need to multiply both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1x. And if I multiply by 4 on this side, negative 4 times 4 will give me a negative 16. Looking at number 11, I have negative h over 3 minus 4 equals 13. The variable here is h. The first step is to add 4 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 4 gives me 0, leaving me with negative h over 3, which is equal to 13 plus 4, which is 17. The h is still not alone. I want to get rid of the negative and the 3, so I'm going to multiply by a negative 3. That'll cancel the negative and the 3, leaving me with h. And then I'll multiply by negative 3 on the right side. 17 times a negative 3 is a negative 51. You're going to try 12. Negative d over 6 plus 12 equals negative 7. The variable here is d. First, I want to get rid of the 12 by subtracting it. 12 minus 12 is 0, which leaves me with negative d over 6 equals negative 7 minus 12 is going to give me a greater negative number of negative 19. I once again want to get rid of the negative and the 6, so I'm going to multiply by a negative 6. It'll cancel both the negative and the 6, leaving me with the d. If I multiply by negative 6 there, I must also do it here. A negative times a negative will give me a positive 114. I've got a couple more problems on this page. 13, we have 4/5 m plus 2 equals 6. So my variable here is m. I'm going to get the 4/5 m alone by subtracting 2 from both sides. 2 minus 2 is 0, leaving me with just 4/5 m equals 6 minus 2 is 4. Remember, to get rid of a fraction, instead of dividing by fraction, we're going to multiply by its reciprocal. The 5 cancels with the 5, the 4 cancels with the 4, leaving me with m, and I'll multiply by 5 over 4 on this side. So I do 4 times 5, which is 20, divided by 4, which is 5. You might have also recognized that this can cancel, leaving us with just 5. You're going to try 14. It says 2/3 g plus 6 equals negative 12. The variable here is g. First, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. 6 minus 6 is 0, leaving me with 2/3 g equals negative 12 minus 6 is a negative 18. Once again, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which would be 3 over 2. So these cancel and these cancel, leaving me with g. I multiply by 3 over 2 here as well. So I multiply negative 18 times 3, which is negative 54. Divide by that by 2, and I get negative 27. Number 15 is a similar problem. 5 over 2z equals negative 8. The variable here is z. I'm going to first add 8 to both sides. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0, leaving me with 5 over 2. That looks like a z. 2z. And then negative 8 plus 3, sorry, negative 3 plus 8, whoops, is 5. To get the z by itself, I'll multiply by its reciprocal, 2/5. So we cancel, leaving me with z. On this side, I multiply by 2/5. 5 times 2 is 10, divide by 2. Sorry, 5 times 2 is 10, divide by 5 is 2. Or you could see that these cancel, leaving us with 2. You're going to try 16. 3/4 q minus 7 equals 8. The variable here is q. First, I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0, leaving me with 3/4 q. And then 8 plus 7 is 15. To get the q totally by itself, I'm going to multiply by its reciprocal, 4/3. And the same on the other side. 15 times 4 is 60, divide by 3 is 20. Okay, here we have c minus 5 over 4 equals 3. Now, remember, these ones are a little bit different because we have a numerator and a denominator. So instead of adding 5, as you can see, that would be a little tricky because the 5 is tucked in the numerator. So instead, we want to get rid of the denominator before we subtract. So this is one case where we will kind of go out of the order we've been following so far. So to get rid of that 4 on bottom, I'm going to multiply by 4, which will cancel, leaving me with c minus 5. If I multiply by 4 there, I'll also multiply by 4 here. 3 times 4 is 12. Now we can see that all I need to do is add 5 to both sides. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0, leaving me with c equals 12 plus 5 is 17. You're going to try 18. B plus 1 divided by 3 equals 2. The variable here is b. We're going to do the same thing we did on 17. We're going to first get rid of this denominator. I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides, leaving me with b plus 1. And 2 times 3 is 6. Now I can just subtract 1 from both sides. 1 minus 1 is 0, leaving me with b equals 6 minus 1 is 5. These last two, we're going to be solving for the variable that they're asking us to solve for. As you'll notice that there's multiple letters, so we need to pay attention. So it says ax minus b equals c, solve for x. When it says solve for x, it's just asking us to get the x by itself, using the same strategies we've already been using. So if I want to get this x by itself, first thing I need to do is add b to both sides. Negative b plus b will give me a 0, no matter what b is. If I have a negative of it and I add its positive, I'll get 0, leaving me with a times x equals, now I don't know what c is or b is, so I'm just going to write c plus b. Now to undo a times x, I'm going to divide by a, leaving me with 1x. If I divide by a over there, I'm going to divide this whole side by a. Because I don't know what these numbers are, I just copy it down. C plus b over a. That's what x equals. You're going to try 20. You have 7x plus 3y equals m, and you're solving for y. The first thing that we need to do is to get in here is we need to get rid of this 7x. To move that or get rid of it, I'm going to subtract it. 7x minus 7x will give me a 0. But if I do it there, I have to also do it here, leaving me with 3y equals, now I don't know what these are, so I'm just going to copy it down. I've got m minus 7x. Next I have 3 times y, so to get rid of the 3, I'm going to divide by 3. And divide this entire side by 3, leaving me with y equals all of this stuff, m minus 7x all over 3.